This is the Education Business Podcast for consultants and business owners providing services in schools. I'm Claire Riley, and I'll be sharing how to start, grow and scale your education business. Hello, thank you for tuning in. Question: what do you do if you don't have the means to invest in a coach or a mentor, but you feel like you need somebody to be accountable to? How do you keep yourself accountable? This is something that's come up a lot in the meetings that I've been having with the education business community up and down the country. What happens if you're not at the stage where you could have mentoring with Ed and I, or you don't have the funds to be able to get a coach to keep you accountable? What do you do then? Especially if you're going to join the Education Business Club platform, where there's lots and lots of content, but there's nobody there keeping you accountable. How do you actually keep yourself accountable? And so it got me thinking, because I've had quite a number of conversations about things I do to keep myself accountable, because I don't feel like I need somebody outside of myself to keep me accountable. Maybe I should. Maybe I'm not getting all of the things done that I want to get done, but I'm quite self-driven and self-motivated, and I can work from content and then hold the accountability for myself. So I wanted to give you some tips, some advice, so that you can try keeping yourself accountable as well. So the first thing you can do is not let things go. I do not let things go. The most simple way to do that is to have a master list. I would not recommend that being on paper, because you have to rewrite it a lot and that wastes a lot of time. But I recommend having some kind of master list that you're going back to so you do not let things go. Ideally, it will be digital, and you will set up a system so that it keeps coming back to you again and again. You already know that I use Motion. I think it's absolutely brilliant. It helps me keep on top of the things that I've said that I will do. So think about the systems and processes that you can put in place to make sure that things don't fall away. Because that's what a coach would do. They would say, have you done this thing? Well, how do you make sure that that's important to you and that you keep coming back to it? The second thing is be honest about your progress. And that's so that you can make changes. So if you're honest about the progress that you've made, and you know that you haven't done something because you've got some kind of belief problem or you just didn't do it, you know that you can take action there and that you can work to change that. If you're not aware and you're not being honest about your progress, you'll blame your circumstances on competitors or the current market or school budgets, or you'll blame it on your situation. For example, you've got young children, or you've got a sick parent, or you don't have enough hours in the day. There's always a reason. But the problem is that what we believe impacts the actions that we take, no matter how much time we've got. So we do need to be really honest about the progress that we're actually making, because that allows us to make changes. If we're not honest, we can't make changes because it's never our fault. The third thing you can do is set realistic timeframes. So even a coach or mentor cannot hold you accountable for 10 results when it was only possible to do 3 in the first place. And to be fair, that's what they'll say. They'll say, well, hang on a minute. Are you actually going to be able to do all these 10 things in the next 2 months? We definitely do that. I'm very careful. We'll have the meeting. There'll be the mentee or mentees, depending. Sometimes it's co-founders. And Ed and I will be guiding the conversation. And I always write notes, and we do it under 5 principles. And I make sure that there's no more than 3 things under each of those 5 principles. Generally, there's only 1. Because I would rather that we actually get something done than nothing and be overwhelmed by the amount. The problem is, when you don't have somebody who's keeping you accountable, it's really easy to go, yeah, I'll do 10 things. And you know what? I still do that. I'll put in motion that I'm going to do all this stuff. I'll say I'm going to do it by the end of February. And I know full well that I do not have that many hours in February. Never mind that many hours I'm working. I don't have that many hours in existence, even if I work 24/7 and did not sleep. So we have to be really honest with ourselves about whether what we're setting out is actually achievable. Sometimes it's better to commit to one thing and do it well and let it succeed than try and do 10 things and not actually get anywhere with any of them, because we don't do anything very well, we don't focus on it, and we don't feel like we're making progress. We just feel very busy. See, when we're on our own, we can think that we're the problem because we can't stay accountable. But that's not it. Generally, it's just bad planning. I'd love to know your thoughts on that one. Number 4, if you need it, find a friend. So you don't have to pay somebody to hold you accountable. I personally don't think that's what people need. Maybe they do. I think people need knowledge. I think people need access to experience. I don't feel like people actually need to be held accountable. I think that's a nice to have, but we can hold ourselves accountable. If you need it though, you can ask a friend or a partner. If they have a business as well, that's an extra special bonus, because you can even have meetings with each other where you hold each other accountable. It could even be like a mini board. So at our board meetings, what we're doing is holding each other accountable. This morning I've been prepping for our February board meeting, and I've had to go through all of the agenda items and check that I've done what I said I will do. And because I'm the chairman, on Friday, I'll be going through that list again, making sure that everyone else has been through each item on the agenda that they can contribute to, and putting updates in or different elements for discussion. And we keep each other accountable through that process. Claire, have you actually done what you said you would do? Ed, where is this up to? And so you can create that with a business friend easily. And number 5, hang around with the right people and or listen to the right content. Sometimes with accountability, it's just a matter of motivation. And you can get that motivation by seeing others succeed and wanting some of that for yourself. You just have to put yourself in their world on a regular basis. That might be meeting them. That might be signing up to their thing, like the Education Business Platform, for example, or somebody else's thing. It might be listening to their podcast, like you're listening to my podcast now. It might be signing up to their newsletter. It might be having a weekly coffee with somebody. But being around people who are getting stuff done, who are talking about achieving things, who are talking about being at the place that you want to get to, you can get a lot of motivation from that. The key is you can't just do that one day a month and expect that to see you through the whole month. You have to be doing it regularly. And for me, that's a daily basis. I'm listening to things that inspire me on all sorts of different levels every single day to keep me going, to keep me focused on those goals, to keep me moving forward, to keep myself accountable. So to summarise really quickly then, if you want to keep yourself accountable, try these things. 1, don't let things go. Keep a list. Make sure that you're always looking at all of the things that you said you will do. 2, be honest about your progress so that you can make changes. 3, set realistic timeframes, because often we give ourselves way too much to do in so little time, and that's why it's not possible. Not because we're not accountable, it's because it's not possible. 4, if you need it, find a friend to be accountable to. And 5, hang around with the right people or get inspirational content from those kind of people. And with that in mind, if you're not signed up to my newsletter, please sign up to it. I'm sharing insights. I'm sharing what I'm doing on a week-to-week basis, which you might find interesting as you grow your education business companies as well. I'm sharing events that I'm doing around the company. You'll also see different content that's landing on the Education Business Club platform. So there's lots of great reasons to be involved. So sign up at educationbusinessclub.co.uk/newsletter, and I will see you on my newsletter. I believe you can keep yourself accountable. You don't actually need somebody else. it's a nice thing to have, but you do have the power in you to do what you say you will do. And I'd love to know if you try my tips this week. Thank you for listening to the Education Business Podcast. To get more information to grow your business, sign up at educationbusinessclub.co.uk.